There's so much that makes this town unique and special, so really can't isolate one thing. But it really is nice that it's kind of one of the few, for lack of a better term, Mayberry towns left in the United States. And
It was the small town feel of it and just the uniqueness of it. To us, it felt unique. It wasn't like big box stores everywhere. It had a small main street atmosphere.
It's something we didn't use addresses, we didn't use anything. We were going to go down here and this is what we're going to do. And it was the old Rockwell, America.
40 miles southeast of Denver is the small town of Elizabeth, Colorado. The town's history is closely linked to that of the Denver and New Orleans Railroad, a standard gauge line created by John Evans, former territorial governor of Colorado in 1881. Evans saw the potential of linking the rich agricultural lands of the Colorado Divide with the markets of Denver and Pueblo. As the story goes, Evans named the new station at milepost 39.4 after his sister-in-law, Elizabeth. In June 1882, local landowner Thomas Phillips platted the Elizabeth town site. His hopes of attracting businesses and settlers were soon realized. Local farmers brought their dairy, grain, and beef products to the Elizabeth station and then bought farming implements and supplies while in town. By 1890, Elizabeth boasted some 300 citizens and a couple of dozen buildings, all wooden structures produced by local sawmills and builders. The town continued to grow steadily, but by the early 1930s, the Good Roads movement and the Great Depression spelled trouble for the small railroad branch, now the Colorado and Southern.
The most important, I would say, would be the flood of 35, and that being that is when it took the railroad out. And without the railroad, or with the railroad, there's no telling what we would have been today.
Sadly, almost all signs of the D&NO Railroad had disappeared by the close of 1936, including the depot at Elizabeth. But the town of Elizabeth persevered and continued to be the focus of rural life in far western Elbert County.
The thing being that I grew up here, went to school here, there were 10 in my class in school, and it's kind of neat. We were considered a big class, and there were 10 of us that started the first grade. It was exactly the same 10 that graduated 12th grade. It was just small town America. And you could go to the Merc that was across the street here, or the grocery store that was right down at the end of the street here. And anything that you actually needed to get along was available.
After World War II, a Cold War missile base south of town brought jobs and new businesses to Elizabeth until it closed in 1965.
When people started moving out when they had basically closed down the missile base. And so then here's all these houses. Well, then we changed from a farming community, ranching community, to a bedroom community.
immigration for a short term of the hippie movement. And that started approximately in exactly 1970 by a gentleman by the name of Dave Wright, who later became the mayor at one point. Some of the artists, we've got Carlson, with the Carlson Building, which is the one state designated historic building.
Hundreds of hours in that saddle right there.
I think that art and history go hand in hand because art is kind of a reflection of what's going on at the time in your community and your world. So it's a picture of our history.
Historic preservation is just critical from a standpoint that for us to be able to learn from the past.
Elizabeth is a small town full of Western charm and character. Many of its historic buildings remain to tell the story of Elizabeth's past. The town's historic preservation program and its historic advisory board help to preserve these important buildings, providing opportunities for new businesses, art, and tourism in Elizabeth's future.